The night she whispered that she had not let a man into her life for 2 years was not loud or dramatic, but it carried the weight of a confession made after surviving a storm. It was the kind of truth that lived in the space between breaths, shaped by grief, fear, and quiet endurance. No one else heard it, but the moment a single father stepped into her guarded world, everything she had carefully locked away began to tremble, as if life itself was asking to be let back in. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of love that heals without force, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this are for hearts that still believe people can change each other for the better. Her name was Rachel Moore, and she lived in a small coastal town in Oregon where the fog rolled in like memory and refused to leave easily. She worked at a modest community library, a place of whispers and worn pages, where people came to escape their lives for a few hours. Rachel understood that desire better than anyone. 2 years earlier, her life had cracked open when a relationship she trusted collapsed in a way that left scars no one could see. She did not talk about it. She simply closed the door on love and told herself she was safer that way. She learned to live with routine, solitude, and emotional distance, convincing herself that survival was enough. Every morning, Rachel walked the same path, brewed the same coffee, and smiled politely at strangers without letting any of them close. Her apartment walls were bare, not because she lacked taste, but because she refused to attach meaning to spaces that might one day be abandoned. Friends tried to set her up. She declined without explanation. The idea of letting someone see her fully again felt unbearable, like reopening a wound that had finally stopped bleeding. Miles away in a neighboring town lived a man named Andrew Collins. Andrew was a single father to a 7-year-old boy named Noah, a child with curious eyes and a quiet resilience that mirrored his father's own. Andrew's wife had passed away after a long illness, leaving him to rebuild a life he never planned to live alone. He worked as a residential electrician, taking early jobs and late calls, juggling responsibilities that often left him exhausted. Yet every night he read to his son, packed lunches, and reminded himself that love did not end with loss. It simply changed shape. Andrew did not see himself as brave. He felt broken in ways he rarely acknowledged. Dating was not on his mind. Survival was. His days revolved around keeping Noah safe, fed, and emotionally whole. He had learned how to cook simple meals, how to listen without interrupting, and how to sit with grief instead of running from it. In doing so, he had unknowingly become the kind of man who understood pain without trying to fix it. Their paths crossed on an ordinary afternoon at the library. Andrew had brought Noah to find books for a school project. Rachel noticed them immediately, not because they were loud, but because they were quietly connected. Andrew listened to his son with full attention, kneeling beside him, patient and present. Rachel felt something stir, a reminder of warmth she had almost forgotten. She helped them find the books they needed, her voice steady, her smile polite. Andrew thanked her, and something in his eyes carried gratitude without expectation. Over the following weeks, Andrew and Noah became regular visitors. Rachel watched from behind the desk as father and son settled into corners, reading together, laughing softly. She told herself she was only observing, but the truth was deeper. Their presence felt grounding, familiar, safe. Andrew never lingered longer than necessary, never crossed boundaries, never tried to turn courtesy into flirtation. That restraint was what slowly broke down Rachel's walls. One rainy evening, the library hosted a small community event. Andrew volunteered to help set up chairs. Rachel stayed late to organize materials. Their conversation was simple, about books, weather, parenting, and work. There was no tension, no pressure, just two people exchanging pieces of their lives without fear. Rachel felt herself exhale in a way she had not in years. As weeks turned into months, Andrew became part of her routine. They shared quiet coffee breaks and brief conversations that grew slowly deeper. Rachel learned about Noah's love for dinosaurs and Andrew's habit of fixing broken things, even when they did not need repair. Andrew learned about Rachel's childhood love for writing and her quiet fear of being seen too clearly. Neither rushed the connection. Neither demanded more than the moment offered. Rachel's inner conflict grew as her feelings deepened. She found herself waiting for Andrew's visits, wondering how it would feel to let him closer. The memory of past pain whispered warnings. She reminded herself of the vow she made to stay guarded. But Andrew never tried to enter her life forcefully. He simply showed up consistently, respectfully, and honestly. That consistency became the foundation of something Rachel had not known she needed. The turning point came during a storm that knocked out power across town. Andrew and Noah stopped by the library before heading home, seeking shelter from the rain. In the dim light of emergency lamps, Rachel felt the weight of her truth pressing against her chest. She realized she trusted Andrew not because he promised safety, but because he never pretended life was without risk. When Andrew later invited Rachel to join them for a simple dinner at his home, she hesitated for days before accepting. The decision felt monumental. Walking into his house, she noticed its imperfections, toys scattered, walls marked with memories. It was not polished, but it was alive. Noah welcomed her with shy enthusiasm. Andrew moved through the space with quiet confidence. Rachel felt her heart loosen its grip on fear. Over time, Rachel allowed herself to become part of their world. She helped with homework, shared meals, and laughed in ways that surprised her. Andrew never pushed her to explain her past. He understood that healing had its own timeline. His patience became a mirror, showing Rachel what safety could look like. The night she finally admitted that she had not let a man into her life for 2 years was not dramatic. It was spoken softly, carried by trust rather than fear. Andrew did not react with surprise or judgment. He simply listened, honoring the weight of her truth. In that moment, Rachel realized that letting someone in did not mean losing herself. It meant choosing to be seen. Life did not suddenly become perfect. There were moments of doubt, fear, and emotional setbacks. Rachel struggled with vulnerability. Andrew navigated the complexities of blending worlds, but they faced challenges, together, grounded in honesty and mutual respect. Noah thrived in the warmth of their growing bond, finding comfort in the stability they created. Rachel's life changed not because a man saved her, but because she chose courage over isolation. Andrew's presence reminded her that love could be gentle, patient, and real. Together they built something rooted in understanding rather than illusion. If this story has touched your heart so far, if it reminded you of the quiet strength it takes to trust again, please take a moment to like, share, and comment. Your engagement helps stories like this reach others who need hope. Just before the ending, we ask you to comment one word that represents what this story made you feel, whether it is healing, faith, love, or courage. In the end, Rachel learned that closing her heart had kept her safe, but opening it allowed her to truly live. Andrew learned that love could return in unexpected forms, bringing light into places once darkened by loss. Their story was not about grand gestures, but about steady presence, kindness, and the bravery to begin again. And sometimes, that is enough to change a life forever.